And we're back. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. Welcome to Bayloric Worldwide Television. And today we celebrate 2 million views on the channel. Thank you very much for supporting the channel. For those of you who are not subscribed, please subscribe. We really appreciate it. For those of you who haven't already, when you hit this, if you've subscribed already, make sure you click. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. Keeps happening. Yeah, for those who have already subscribed, so I've already subscribed to the channel, mate. Make sure you click the little bell that's next to the subscribe button, because when you hit the bell, then you get all the notifications, so you know when we're live, when the next video, the latest video comes out. So just click that button there, the bell, and you'll get all the latest news. Right, what are we going to talk about now? Well, we're going to talk about Oleksandr Usyk, the WBO cruiserweight champion of the world. A lot of stuff going on recently about Usyk, which is very interesting. Bravo. Thank you very much. Bonjour. Bonjour. Come stai? Yeah. Tutto bene. Eh? So, thank you. Not surprised. And Mr. P. O'Neill. Right. We're going to talk Oleksandr Usyk. And as you know, James Bashir, Uncle James Bashir was a regular, it still is a regular on Bayloric Worldwide Television. He was the head trainer for Oleksandr Usyk, and if you didn't already know, they've parted. They have parted. In the last fight Usyk had under James Bashir, the training camp was, in Bashir's own words, a bit of a disaster. He was in the camp training, and while he was training, other orders were being thrown by another trainer as well. Rumor had it that Bashir, well, there's not even rumor, it's true, that Usyk was training with Lomachenko's father at the time, 2 weeks before Bashir got into camp. And you know, it doesn't seem to bode very well what's going on now with Usyk, because the statements were that came out the camp, and they've got to get their story straight, was that Bashir can no longer teach Oleksandr Usyk anything, and he wants to learn new things in camp. Okay, fair enough. They said that Bashir's camps were shambolic. He's a bit of a diva. He asked for too much. Bashir responded by saying, well, if I'm the head coach, I'm the head man, then I want things done a certain way. And one of the things I want is that I am the head man, and that there's nobody else going behind my back and giving my fighter other orders. Because obviously, if you're the head man and somebody else is doing the training or giving instructions, when it all goes wrong, it's not that person that's been given the instructions, it's you who's the head man. So I guess Bashir, it was right in saying those things, but there's always somebody who had an opinion and what to say to Usyk. Anyway, in the last fight, as Usyk was defending his title against Minchuno, it was a difficult defense, simply because Minchuno was an awkward style of opponent. Significant things were happening. Bashir, who always around world title fights is standing next to his fighter when they won the title. Before he won the title in the weigh-in, he was there. In this last fight against Minchuno, they never discussed the fight with Bashir at all. I remember having more news about who Usyk was fighting before Bashir did. And that should be right if you're the lead trainer. But anyway, at the weigh-in, Bashir's in the crowd while somebody else is up there with Oleksandr Usyk in his title defense. Then Bashir says when he came into the dressing room, the hands were wrapped by somebody else. And then after the fight, Usyk was complaining about his hands. It was the first time in his career he's complained about his hands. Bashir is normally one that looks after his hands. So you can see things there already that are concerning. The latest revelation coming out of Camp Usyk, that it's not Lomachenko's father that's training Usyk. Oh, no, 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 no. They've gone one step further. They've got one step better. They've got Cutman, the Cutman for Deontay Wilder, Russ Anber. Yes, remember Russ Anber? He was on our channel. Russ Anber Yeah, I think it's Rival Boxing he does. It might be Rival. I think it's Rival Boxing. That's his brand. Anyway, well, what can I tell you about Russ Anber? I believe he trained Montel Griffith. He trained no, not Montel Griffith. Otis Grant. He trained Otis Grant to the WBO middleweight title. I remember him telling me that he trained his fighters from amateurs right through to the professional ranks. I remember talking to him about David Lemieux. He said that as in terms of David Lemieux, he hits very hard, but he can't train him because he don't listen. As for Stevenson, he said Stevenson is the single most devastating one-punch knockout artist there is in world boxing. That's what he said about Adonis Stevenson. And this is before Adonis Stevenson actually moved to light heavyweight. This is when he was still at super middleweight. So, and of course, Russ Anber's now in the corner of Deontay Wilder as the cutman. So, in terms of class of trainers, you can't compare, no disrespect to Russ Anber, but you can't compare Russ Anber to James Elliott Bashir. So now they're going to take on Michael Hunter, who is a fairly dangerous opponent. And if Hunter's got his mind right, Hunter could be more than a handful for Team Usyk. And, you know, strategy is everything. It's not just about, you know, what will end up happening now is that whoever comes in will benefit from what Bashir has done. But I'll be honest and say what has happened between Bashir and Usyk is just, it's just not right. It's not right. And I don't think this is going to end up good for Usyk at all, because, you know, you have a good trainer, a very good trainer, experienced trainer who's mentoring you. It's very difficult to get trainers today who've got experience of 30, 40 years, 40, 50 years in the game. And on top of that, who are able to take you in and mentor you. There are a lot of trainers in the game today, but a lot of the trainers in the game today don't have the experience. And those trainers, who did they get taught by? Remember, it was Usyk that went to Bashir and said, I want you to be my trainer. I want you to be, you know, and he called him his father, because obviously Usyk's father passed away. And he said Bashir was going to be his father. And then the way they've broken up, it's not been very cool. So you have Russ Anber in the corner as trainer, if that's the case. So that's the first thing. The trainer at the cornership's not going to be, I don't know how good the corner's going to be. His assistant trainer, who was a good friend of Usyk, has now left the camp. You've got a man that's wrapping hands, that's obviously wrapping Usyk's hands wrong. That's why Usyk's hands are hurting him at the moment. So this is going to be interesting to see how, and now they're going to fight Michael Hunter, who is no bum. He might not look great in his last fight, but if Hunter's got his head on, it can be a difficult night's work for Usyk. So this is not going to go down well. I mean, if you're going to replace a trainer and say, all right, we don't want Bashir, then move up to get somebody else. Find somebody else credible. And you got Russ Anber, which, you know, all those fighters you talk about, I've just talked about Russ Anber, they'll stick with him. Noble Cornflower. I would understand Anatoly Lomachenko, but Russ Anber, come on. Well, that's what's come out of the camp. Mr. Bashir has huge respect in this sport. He has give more than his fair share to the sport. If you packed in everything tomorrow. Mike is looking forward to Usyk versus Hunter. I heard Hunter is pretty handy, unbeaten in 12. That decision to depart Mr. Bashir will halt his progress as a fighter, in my opinion. I agree. The trainers will take credit for Bashir's work. Such a shame Usyk lost his mentor. I'm telling you, this is going to come back to bite Usyk in his ass. I'm telling you. It's not the first time fighters have done this, and it's come back and bit them in the ass. We saw when Saunders left his father figure and longtime mentor Jimmy Tibbs, and the corner was shambolic in the very next fight. I hope Usyk's performance isn't hindered by similar performance. I hope so too, because Usyk, people are saying Usyk could go on to be all-time great, move on to the heavyweight division. It doesn't bode well at the moment, but Usyk has been coming vocal and said that that he would like to face Tony Bellew next. Well, according to Tony Bellew, Bellew is now saying that he is going to grant David Haye a rematch. So I don't know what Usyk's going to do because, yeah, well, I don't know what he's going to do. I don't know what's going to happen, but Usyk basically is calling that Bellew. He's going to have to get past Michael Hunter first. Let's say he does against Michael Hunter. That smooth footwork that he's been taught with Bashir. And why is he not being trained by Lomachenko? Is Russ Anber the fall guy? Remember, Russ Anber was in the corner of the last fight with Usyk. So, have they tried to slip Anber in quietly, settle him in before the fight with Hunter? Is that what they've done? Or is it a smokescreen to cover up the fact that really the intention was for Lomachenko's father to train Usyk? Are they trying to cover up to make it look that bad? And then say, oh, well, it's actually Russ Anber training just to throw the deflection. Is it that? Or is it really the case that Lomachenko's father isn't training him and it's Russ Anber? Usyk should unify versus Huck Breedis winner or Gassiev. Clean out cruiserweight, then make a move to heavyweight when he's 31, 32. They said they want to fill in an entire stadium in Kiev or Odessa. I expect Usyk to stop Bellew at cruiserweight. Remember, Bellew won't have extra weight to hold the shot. That's true. Yeah. So it's interesting. I will watch on and see. I can't honestly see Uncle Bashir talking anymore about this subject. I think he's sick to death about it. I think he's fed up of hearing about the Usyk camp now, as he wants to move on. So there we go. It's finally clear who was wrapping Usyk's hands before the Manchuna fight, and it looks to me like Russ Anber. Russ Anber wrapping the hands of Usyk. Well, Russ Anber wrapped his hands, and at the end of the fight, you saw Usyk was complaining about his hands. So you see Bashir in this photograph I've got here, where he's got his head bowed over, and he's just looking. Yeah, well, how disrespectful is that? You're the head trainer, you're the lead trainer, the head trainer, and some guys come out from nowhere, and he's wrapping hands of your training that you've put all your time and effort in. How disrespectful is that? So Bashir's now training two guys, one in South Africa, one in Ukraine. Both guys are relatively unknown, and he's going to dedicate his time to them. He says, I want to prove myself that I can train fighters that are unknown and take them to the top of the sport. So I look forward to seeing Bashir do well here, but I sense that this is not going to end well for Usyk. The question is why? You know, Klitschko made a similar move with not employing Bashir and employing Banks instead. Ask yourself the question: if Bashir was training Vladimir Klitschko, what sort of fighter would Vladimir Klitschko be today? That's the question you ask yourself as well. What sort of fighter would Vladimir Klitschko be? I would love to see Bellew get bewildered by Usyk's triple jab and angles. Jesus, would be an upper schooling. The question is, will we see that same Usyk now fighting now without Bashir training him? Will they remember when? Here's another example when Naz left Brendan Ingle and he went to Emmanuel Stewart. Bashir, this is a conversation a lot of you may not be aware of. Bashir and Emmanuel Stewart were absolutely opposite ends of the spectrum. Emmanuel Stewart said, I want Naz to hold his feet, stop dancing around the ring, hold his feet, and land big shots. James Elliott Bashir was like, no, I don't want that. I personally don't want that way. I'd like to see Naz stay how he is, moving and being as mobile as possible and as elusive as possible. That's what his success has been. Well, you saw which way they went. They went with Bashir, with Emmanuel Stewart's way of thinking, which meant that Naz was easier to hit, which meant that Naz's whole element of surprise was more or less gone. He started telegraphing his punches, and you saw the end product with the Barrera fight. So we don't know what Usyk's still young in his career as well. We don't know what Usyk we're going to have in the future. Is he going to just be a puncher now? Is he going to give us that nice slick movement? What's going to happen now? A new trainer will have different ideas. Which other fighter does Bashir train? It's criminal. He doesn't. He's not well known globally. But we've got. Please get James Elliott back on the channel with his fighters. Give them exposure to Bayloric audience. I have already. We've spoken to one of the fighters already, which is Russ Anber, the South African heavyweight. We had him live on the channel with his trainer in South Africa. We had him. The Ukrainian, we haven't got him yet, but we will get with him in the future. We should know more in his performance against Hunter. Imagine the scenes of Usyk breaks his effing hand mid-fight. Well, you know, these things happen. Karma's a sad thing sometimes. You know, when you do things to people who treat you right and you decide to go and treat them wrong, it's not on. Boxing's a business, I understand, but there's a way you can end a business. You know, say, look, I don't want you as trainer. Ruan Vissa and Vlad Sirenko. Thank you very much. Thank you for reminding Mr. Noble Cornflower. I appreciate that. So yeah, Ruan Vissa and Vlad Sirenko. So we'll talk to Vlad Sirenko in the future. But Ruan Vissa, Bashir is on his way to training camp with Klitschko to help him sparring. So that's Bashir's on his way there. And after the Joshua fight, then Bashir will be going back to Anvisa then. I think it'll be interesting to see what sort of reception Bashir gets when he comes to the UK. We will be talking exclusively to Bashir when he comes to the UK. We'll get that sit-down interview with him. I think it'll be good. A lot of the British press get to. I hope he gets as many interviews as possible done, Bashir, when he's in the UK. He does deserve that. So it's a shame he's come to UK on the basis of Vladimir Klitschko. It's a shame he didn't have a UK fighter to work with. It's taken too long for these cruisers to start unifying and give us some decent fights, says the Hitman. Well, yeah, I guess so. Right, there's not much more I can say, apart from, would be ashamed to see Usyk leave his chin in the air and abandon what Bashir taught him in the recent years. Could be carnage. Well, you can see it coming. You can see it coming. You can see it coming. And if Russ Anber's got anything to do with it, you know, then you can see it coming. Just heard back from the man himself, Peter Fury. Yep, just heard from him. I just wished him good luck. I wished him good luck on his visa application. So yeah, it's a little bit of exclusive news there. Peter Fury contacting us. Would you like to get Vlad on the channel with Bashir? That'd be something, wouldn't it? We'll see what we can do. We'll see what we can do to work that out. It'd be nice to get Vlad and Bashir on the channel. Would be great. You've got Jonathan Banks as well. That'd be something, eh? We'll see what we can do. We'll see what we can do. It's something we look forward to in April for sure. But we definitely have, and if I'd known earlier, because I knew when Spence and his team were coming to the UK. I knew when they were coming, but obviously I was here in Ireland, so I couldn't get to them. But we'll get Spence as well. We'll get Spence and we'll get Derek James before the Brock fight. That'll be very interesting. So we'll do what we can do there. Right. I think that's it for me for the night. It's 2 a.m. in the morning. Celebrating 2 million views on YouTube for Bayloric TV. Actually, it's about 4.5, 5 million across Bayloric and the other channels we've got. So we're doing quite well, but we'll try and speed to 3 million now. Who are you backing with Fury Parker? I think it's key that Peter Fury's in the corner for Hughie Fury, but he hasn't fought anybody yet as good as Joseph Parker's fought. And Joseph Parker's by far the best opponent he's going to fight in his career. And I wasn't impressed with his Fred Cassie performance. So at the moment, the fight's in New Zealand. Unless Hughie knocks Parker out, I can't see Parker losing the fight on points. So Hughie's going to have to knock Parker out. Has he got the power to knock Parker out? I don't know. I really don't know. So, yeah. I think it'd be good to have Peter Fury back on the channel. We haven't had him for a while. And gloves off, Russell Hartley and Dave Colwell. No holds barred. This would smash all Baylor records. Ross would end him. Well done. You owe us all a treat. I owe you all a treat. All right. Oh, don't forget, I've just done the 2 million videos, the 2 million view video. Please leave your comments on the channel. I appreciate as to how long you've been watching the channel, what part of the world you're from. Q and to me. Congrats, you're very well deserved. Thanks for all the content you give us. You're welcome. And trust me, I want to give you a lot more content in 2017. And once we make this switch, then it'll be great. I won't put it past Fury to beat Parker. The Furies are good at proving us wrong. Yeah, they are. They are. But it's a huge jump for Hughie. A huge jump. Just simply because of like where he was, where he's been fighting to where he's going with Joseph Parker. And the illness and the mental demons coming after that Cassie fight. I would love to see him win a fight, knock some, get some cobwebs off, win a fight, and then go and fight Parker with some momentum. It's like the car's completely stopped. He's restarting the car to fight a beast in Parker. And Parker's a beast. He's a beast. He's physically an imposing man. I don't think Hughes fought anyone in his career as imposing and as physically strong as Joseph Parker. I think Hughes got better boxing ability, but we'll see. We'll see. Right. I am out of here. I'm going to bed. I bet you'd love a Peter Fury interview, eh? He hasn't been on the channel this year, so it'd be nice to get him on the channel. We're in what, March? Right. I'm out of here. Have a good morning. The next time I'm up again, I will be posting the official main trailer for Justice League. So the next time you see me, or next time I'll be posting the Justice League trailer. Take care, and I'll be commentating live on Crawler versus Linares. I don't even want to see the fight, to be honest, but because I think that Crawler's going to get himself smashed to bits, but I could be wrong. Let's see how the fight goes. I'm out. Take care.